Good morning and welcome. Like every trading day, it's Tuesday, 8th of May 2018. Welcome to Real-Time Daily Trading Ideas. We have 5 days a week, 5 different traders. We will speak about trading ideas, strategies, market screening, maybe 1 or 2 questions from your side directly answered in our webinar. Our goal is quick and smart, but for that daily, so let's have a nice start like every day. And like every day, we will start with our disclaimer. Forex and CFDs are leveraged products and can result in losses that exceed your deposits. If you are a starter, please start with a demo account and make yourself familiar with long trading, short trading, leverage trading, and your personal risk management. If you'd like to read the full disclaimer, just visit one of our web pages, for example, admiralmarkets.com, and you will find everything written down there. This is me. My name is Jens. I'm the German guy from Admiral Markets. We are a big international broker with over 18 country offices all around the world. So I'm the German guy. My English is made in Germany, but I'm not the main speaker. The main speaker is the day trader of today. This is our scheme. On Monday, it's Jay's day. On Tuesday, like today, it's Paul's day. On Wednesday, it's Giancarlo's day. On Thursday, it's Sinat's day. On Friday, it's Dirk's day. Our leading day traders live every business day. And of course, if you like to trade Forex and CFDs, you will get many benefits only with us. For example, typical spread of our bestseller DAX 30, just 0.8 points to the main trading hours. You can start with mini lots, 0.1 lots already. And if you like to use MT4, MT5, it's your choice. Check all the details out on admiralmarkets.com. There you will find also something about our regulatory background and how to contact us. You can call us, you can send us email, or visit the other channels like YouTube or Facebook. Everything, of course, is linked from admiralmarkets.com. Enough from my side. Now it's time for Paul. Hi, good morning, Paul. What's your view to the markets today?
Good morning, Jens. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can all hear my voice, and as I click the button, I hope you can all see my screen. Thanks for the introduction, Jens. Yeah, it's Tuesday, the 8th of May. So, for those of us in the UK and Ireland, yesterday was a bank holiday, so today we're getting back into it after a bit of a long weekend. So this is always a chance to sort of take a few moments to have a look at what's been going on in the market and get our sort of raise our awareness about what may have happened over the last few days and what we may have coming this week. So I'll talk a little bit about sort of the dollar and sterling in the moment, but what I just wanted to show you is that I've shown it once or twice. What I do is in terms of every weekend, I sit and do my own analysis of where strength and weaknesses is within the markets, and that gives me an impression of, you know, what the current themes and sentiments are in the market, and then that allows me to basically make decisions on where to buy strength and sell weakness. It's nothing very complex, you know, but it's what I do to prepare myself for the trading week, and I you know, heartily recommend any trader does very, very similar. What I've seen, and you've probably heard me talk about it, you know, for the last few months, is that we had, you know, effectively sterling strength and euro strength, and then at the bottom we've had a bit of the COM-DOL weakness and then also a bit of US dollar weakness. But what we've seen over the last week or two is that started to swing, that started to change, okay? And what I have here on my own matrix here is that now I have, you know, pound has lost its footing, which we're going to talk about and look at, and that's slipped from number 1 to number 4. And the euro as well has slipped from number 2 down to number 5. And it's been replaced at the top by US dollar and Japanese yen. And then at the bottom, we've had Swiss franc, okay, and Aussie dollar. Now, this kind of gives me a bit of an interesting view, which we're going to touch upon, because normally, you know, Swiss franc and Japanese yen are viewed as sort of safe haven currencies, a bit of a risk-off idea. So at one end of the spectrum, I've got Swiss franc right on the bottom of the pile, but also the Japanese yen near the top of the pile, and that kind of gives me sort of raises my interest for me to look at. But what I want to just be able to do is, as I say, is to show that, you know, just doing some very, very simple analysis, okay, starts to give me the right idea about what I want to look for in the markets. So then I sort of take that through to, well, you know, what are the markets showing me? What are the markets telling me today? So as always, let's have a little quick look at the dollar index that we have here. Just zip this down. Because, you know, actually, just 1 second. That's not my dollar index. That's the Dow. We're going to come to that in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. What we've got here, okay, here we have is the dollar index, okay, because in FX markets, you know, that's what I want to be looking at. I want to be just knowing what the hell's going on with the dollar. We've seen this. You've heard me talk about it last few weeks, the wedge, and we broke out. And then last week I talked about, when we were here last week, I talked about price had just ridden up to the sort of 91, 80, 92 zone, put in a sort of a bearish pin bar. And I thought, as I drew on last week, I thought we might take a little bit of some profit taking, a little bit of a small retracement before price pushed on. But you can see that actually what's happened in the last week has not been that didn't occur. We've not really had that pullback. Price has basically just sliced through that daily 200, sliced through that resistance level, a little breather for a day last week, and then has continued to move forward. So just think about that, traders. What is that telling us? What is that telling us about the strength of the dollar? That's telling us that, for whatever reason, whether you want to talk about bond yields, whether you want to talk about the economy, whether you want to talk about just safe havens, you can find your own reason for it. But what as traders we have to do is we have to trade what we see. And at the moment, what we see is strong dollar. Okay, and so you have to sort of build that into your into your view. We are private traders. We're not looking to fight the market. We're looking to find out where's the strength and then try and ride that for all we can. So that just feeds into me. I have a strong dollar tail. Okay, there's a strong dollar theme there, and I want to look at how I build that into my other trade ideas. Well, when I look at euro sterling, which we've talked about for weeks as well. Well, then basically we can see that has basically flowed through there very nicely as well. What we've seen there, we've talked about it for weeks. That 125 level was a very strong resistance level. Price coiled up, it broke out of it, and last week I thought maybe we'll have a little bit of a retrace, but we haven't. We've just actually fallen down through that daily 200 period moving average, through the 120 psychological, big round psychological number, and now we're pushing down beneath 119, 118, 19. I think what we're looking at on a longer term view is we might even slide our way down to around about that 117.30, 117.50. That's what I'll be looking at on a longer term view, and then I'm sort of looking at, well, how can I turn that into trade ideas? Well, this morning the chance to get short happened just earlier this morning. Okay, so that happened there between around about sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. We had an opportunity where price pulled back and it rolled over and fell away, and you can see nicely. So what I'll be looking to do on euro dollar is basically looking for pullbacks and then to be able to sort of sell the rallies. That's what I'll be looking for, because what that's giving me is an opportunity to get on board with the dollar strength and the euro weakening as the theme. If I carry that through then to looking at our one of our other favorites, okay, in terms of euro sterling, we talked about here on the daily chart. We talked about how price having got beneath 87.50, got back up above it. Thought we'd come back down here. We had a sort of buy order around about 87.05, a big order up here at 90 for a target. But what we can see is price has just pushed on. I see now that euro sterling there is just moving ahead there, and it's just holding. And I think as we get some of the news this week, we've got Powell speaking today, we've got Trump speaking later on, we've got UK announcements on Thursday. I think what we'll see is there'll be just a little bit of a pause, okay, as we wait for sort of the UK announcements, but now not expecting to see an interest rate announcement this month, which was pretty much up to a few weeks ago was kind of nailed on, and so that has an impact upon sterling. So we can see the euro has strengthened against the sterling, even though its euro is weakening, is strengthened against the sterling, okay, and then that gives me an idea of, well, if I've seen that the sterling has weakened, okay, sterling is weakened, dollar is strengthening, okay, yen is strengthening, well then I have to look at, well, okay, let's have a quick look at what's going on in the sterling. There's a chance that it's been so strong for so long. Well, then we have to look at, well, what are our opportunities? And we can see here, euro sterling going up, that's euro strength, sterling weakness. Sterling going down here against the US dollar, well, we're around about the sort of the daily 200, but that's showing a sterling weakness, dollar strength. Pound yen I'm going to come to in a minute, but even against the Swiss, okay, even against the Swiss franc, which is bottom of the pile, we've had sterling weakening, all right? Sterling weakening over the last couple of weeks against the Aussie dollar. It's going sideways against the Kiwi dollar on the weekly, but if I go down to the daily, we'll see that effectively it's the same, okay? And even against the Canadian dollar, all right, okay, we can see that what we've been having is a theme of sterling weakness. And so that's what I'll be looking for on the longer term opportunities to sell rallies in sterling at the moment. That's as I think sterling will weaken. The thing I wasn't expecting is that I thought here we're looking at the FTSE. We thought if we get weaker sterling, we'll get a rally in the FTSE, and we have. But I was hoping and expecting that we might see a pullback here to create this inverse head and shoulders pattern around about 70, 80, 71. But in the same way, the dollar index story, it just wasn't waiting for us. It just wasn't interested. And kind of the sell-off in sterling has been so strong that invariably the FTSE has just rallied. Now we're up at 7,600. Okay, and I'll just be watching to see, to see how it reacts at this 7,600 level. But just watch and see. I don't see a trade on FTSE right this moment today, but I'm just watching to see how it reacts to that particular level. So let's have a little look at maybe, we're as an intraday trader. Well, what could we do as an intraday trader? Okay. Well, if we know that sterling is weakening, okay, is weakening pretty significantly. Well, then I'm looking at, we can see here this morning, this is the pound against the yen. If I look on the daily chart, it really has, sold off strongly. Okay, the 4-hourly chart has moved nicely. The 1-hour chart, well, we had an opportunity there this morning. If I just move ourselves down a little bit, if I just change these fibs so we can see a little bit easier on some of the other levels. Here we go. Well, what we can look at is a case of, this morning we had an opportunity to sell, okay, pound against the yen, okay, and we can see that it's dropped really, really nicely, and now I'm expecting maybe a little bit of a sort of a rally off that. And so what I've been looking for is whilst we're just waiting to sort of come on, this is the 5-minute chart, just looking to have a bit of a sort of a double bottom opportunity here, 147.20, okay, looking to be a buyer with a stop around about 147.10, and then targeting up towards around about the 147.50 level. Okay, so giving me around about 2.8, 3 to 1. Okay, I sort of after such a strong collapse this morning, expect to see maybe just a little bit of a double bottom, just a small rally. I don't expect it to turn, but I just expect there'll be some profit taking, and as that rallies up, that gives me an opportunity to take a sort of a bit of an aggressive trade to sort of to challenge the market, to test the market in my views. So there we go. On a longer term basis, I'm going to be shorting sterling, but when I see it on overextended on intraday, then I'll be looking to just to sort of trade against that. So we had a bit of a look through there of sterling, okay, and you can see, we're just taking on board those ideas of dollar strength, sterling weakness. But what I also wanted to have a little look at for this morning is as we cover our sessions, is just want to have a little chat about one or two other ideas to look at. Those of you who are sort of joining us for the first time, what I try and do is try and give a little bit of a market overview. Look at some of the, let's say, big trades, longer term trades, look at one or two maybe short intraday trades, and then also just give you a little heads up, something to sort of take a little bit of a look at, something to keep an eye on, to see as it's perhaps sort of starting to develop as an opportunity. What I'm watching here for myself here, this is the Dow. I'm watching this. This is the daily chart. Let's just go up to the weekly chart here. We've just been, since the sort of February drop off, we've just been, price has just been battering back and forth between a couple of levels. On the weekly chart, I see lots of wicks to the south side. Okay, I see a bit of a trend line to the north. But it's when I get down to the daily chart that I'm starting to get interested. Okay, I'm going down to the daily chart. Here we are, daily chart. For those of you completely new to trading, it's a blue 20 simple moving average, a red 50 simple moving average, and a green 200 moving average. That's it, just kept very, very simple. And what I personally see here is, I see this is the Dow Jones coiling up. This is what I see. We see that the daily 200 has been providing some levels of support here. Okay, we can see it acting as dynamic support. Every time it's got down there on the daily chart, it's bounced up strongly. But what I'm also noticing is the 50 period moving average. Okay, we got a little bit above it for a day or so, and at the end, smashed back down. We came back up, back down, came back up in sort of mid-April and came away. And yesterday we came up and touched and has sort of so far moved away. I see this as prices coiling up. Okay, think about it. It's like a spring that's getting tighter and tighter, and then invariably we're looking to see what will happen. Which way will it blow? So you know, what can we look at it? Well, we've got Trump speaking tonight, and he's going to talk about the Iran deal, and undoubtedly, whatever he announces, that will have an impact on markets, whether he decides to stick with it or whether he decides to rip up that deal and play around. So, you know, I don't have a trade now today, this morning, but what I would be doing is just waiting to see what Trump says this evening. We've got Powell speaking as well today, and to see how that plays out, what impact that has on the market. Not surprisingly, you know, if we break this, break that trend line to the north and get above it, okay, and hold above it, well, then that's kind of bullish, and I'd be expecting near-term bullishness in the Dow and be looking to be a buyer. On the flip side, if we get down and get beneath that daily 200 and close beneath it, and then start to rally up into it and see it turn from dynamic resistance to dynamic support, well, then I'd be looking to be a short of the Dow. So this is a case of, you know, you see there's an opportunity, you watch and you wait, okay, you have a scenario about what could possibly happen. You know that there's people talking that might have the impact that gives it the sort of the nudge to make its move, and then you're ready to pounce when that opportunity presents itself. So I'll just finish off with one more little trade idea for you, okay, and then I'll take a couple of questions. What I've been looking at is oil as well. So what we saw last week, we talked about it, was that, you know, oil has been in a nice uptrend, but we saw it in a little bit of a block. And last week we talked about how, you know, every time price had come back down into the bottom of that block, okay, it had bounced away, and that's what it did last week. It came down into that block, it bounced in it, and it rallied away and rallied strongly. And what we've seen here is, you know, we saw a rally towards the end of last week. We've had a move up. And now we're sort of looking at, well, actually, is this a case of, you know, that rally's overextended itself? We've had a big, almost, you know, high wave candle there in terms of, you know, a really quite a big range candle. And I'm looking at, well, is this an opportunity for people to take a little bit of profit before it falls back into that particular zone? So I was looking here, okay, I put a trade on there before, okay, looking to sell around about $70.10. Stops above the highs around about $70.90, so I've got about 80 cents of trade risk, and then targeting down towards about the 67.40, back into that block just above the 67 support range. So that, you know, I'm risking about 80 cents for about $2.50. There we're just over 3 to 1 in a possible trade idea, and so then that gives me that asymmetric reward to risk ratio that I'm looking for. And that'll be, as always, I'd have a decision point around about that sort of 4-hour 50 period moving average, see how price reacts to that, you know, and that would be a decision point for me, okay. There's no price moves in a straight line, it always moves in a zigzag, and that's what we look to take on board. Okay, so there you go, Jens. It's sort of a bit of a quick run through a lot of the major markets. Okay. Yeah. If there's any question or two, I'll try and take them for the last moment or two to sort of have a look at see if I can help people.
Interesting question from one participant. When looking at moving average, what time frame to choose? Because every time frame has totally different placement of MAs. What do you say about that?
Okay, so I see there's a little comment on DAX. Okay, I'll try and let's see if we can bring up DAX. We've got a minute or two to spare.
I'm not sure. Could you hear me or not?
Bring that up. Here we go. So here's DAX on the daily chart. This is interesting. So you know, if you remember, I talked about a week or two ago that I thought you know, when price was, let's get the cursor on, price was trading down around about here, I thought price would drift its way up to the 200 period moving average. We had a couple of sort of small intraday trade ideas to basically trade the pulses up towards there. But if I look at that now, look at this, is what has happened is that, you know, the DAX on the daily chart, it's pushed through the daily 200 there, just sliced through it, okay, and then it came back, and next day it provided a little inside bar, you know, a pin bar. Some people might call that a doji, but you know, that 200 acted as dynamic support. Okay, it didn't act as much of resistance, but it did act as dynamic support, and it's pressed on. Think about this. You know, what we've got is a view of, you know, we know euro is weakening, okay, so that is going to have a good impact upon the DAX in the same way that sterling weakening has had a good impact upon the FTSE. So let's have a little look down through the sort of the channels again. you know, 12,900. Okay, that's I see that as a bit of a I see that as a little bit of a you know, move. You know, even though we've had a bit of an uptrend, I look at that as maybe, you know, we've had a little bit of a an opportunity to take some profits. I would have liked to have been a seller there this first thing this morning on DAX. Okay, I think that you know, we had a bit of a lazy 1, 2, 3 there, a 1 here, a 2, a 3. Okay, a lower high, and prices broken that and rallied down. What I'd be looking at now is, you know, I'd be looking at, you know, can price sort of rally up to around about that 12,900, 12,920, and let's see if this this 1 hour 20 period moving average, which acted as support here, would the 12,900 zone act as dynamic resistance. If price got up there and then put in a couple of bearish candles, then I'd probably be looking to be a seller back down towards around about 12,820 as a level. So I'd just be keeping an eye on that. And just look for let's see if there is a little bit of a retrace there. Okay, before we move down as a little bit of profit taking. Okay, hope that helps. I don't know if there's any more questions, Jens, or if we've run out of time.
Time is our limit. So thank you for today. I hope you can hear me. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow we have a new day trader. So thank you for now to Paul, and hope to see you and hear you all again tomorrow at the same time. Greetings from Berlin office. Bye bye.